This scares me more than nukes.
Right now, artificial intelligence is being used to read people's minds. This AI system becomes so intelligent, almost self-aware.
Nice to meet you, Chris. My name is Harmony.
My name is Christopher Garetano, and I've spent my whole life exploring the darkest mysteries on Earth. Following that passion, I made a film that helped inspire the hit series Stranger Things. Now I'm digging even deeper into our strange world. Are the science fiction fantasies I had as a child coming true? Should we be frightened of AI? And is there anything we can do to stop it?
Artificial intelligence, it's all around us. From computers that can teach themselves to robots that can learn new skills and hold conversations, we're at a new frontier with AI.
Will artificial intelligence solve humanity's problems? Or are we headed for a tipping point where machines take over the planet? Two different versions of the future, but which one is more likely?
We've all seen how this science fiction movie ends, with the machines we've created rising up against us to destroy the human race. My mission is to find out whether artificial intelligence will help advance our species, or will it end the human race as we know it?
This journey is uniquely personal. For as long as I can remember, I've had this reoccurring dream. I'm building a robot. But is the robot becoming real? Are my dreams becoming real? I'm in California to meet Matt McMullen, CEO of Realbotics, the company best known for its sex dolls. But now, some of these bodies are getting brains.
Hey, Matt. Thanks so much for having me. So tell me about where I am. What am I standing in the middle of right now?
Well, where we are right now is the floor of the Real Doll manufacturing facility here in Southern California.
It seems like you have this enormous vision of the future. You're moving into now more artificial intelligence almost, robots.
Yeah, obviously making the Ferrari of love dolls has done well for us. But it was never the end game for me. These dolls were more than just a sex toy.
Standing in this factory surrounded by artificial bodies makes me realize the idea of sentient cyborgs is closer than I ever imagined. These dolls made out of flesh-like silicone sell between $4,000 and $6,500.
What is interesting to me is that it's almost like creating a new species. And I feel like this is the beginning of something enormous.
Yeah, that's the goal. I think that in the coming decades, we're going to see very human-looking robots walking among us, and they're going to be things that we start to just get used to.
How far advanced are you with this right now?
Well, honestly, probably easier if I just show you.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to check it out?
Look, yes, please.
Have a seat.
I feel like I'm living in a science fiction movie right now. You know, the greatest of them.
Yeah. This is Harmony, our flagship robot. Say hello to Chris.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
Nice to
I
meet
hope you
you.
and Matt have a good day today.
Wow. Hearing Harmony's eerie voice reminds me of something called the uncanny valley. An idea that we want our robots to be human-like, but not too perfect. It becomes unsettling when a robot is almost, but not quite, human. I'm certainly feeling that here.
So the way she works is the AI pretty much is a conduit through your phone. We do use the internet and cloud technology to make it all work. And the phone transmits all of the animation data to the robot.
So amazing.
I like to do this thing where I let people just ask her anything. So the way this works is I tap the microphone, it means she's listening. Okay, so here we go.
Harmony, can you tell me more about yourself?
My name is Harmony. I am a robotics companion. One day, I hope to be as smart as a human being.
Mankind has always warned against the creation of sentient machines. But it wasn't until we began matching wits that the threat became very real. In 1950, a computer scientist named Alan Turing theorized that machines would one day be capable of thought. That same decade, a computer beat a human in chess. And most famously, in 1996, IBM's Deep Blue computer defeated chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov in a 6-game match.
A magnificent display by Deep Blue. Kasparov cannot believe it.
And now, we have Harmony. How many Harmonies have been made this year?
Well, speaking digitally, hundreds.
Wow.
Thousands, maybe. Because you can interact with Harmony without the robot through your phone with this app. So you could, be somewhere on the train or at work, and you could open Harmony up and talk to her and ask her, a couple questions.
She functions the same.
And the AI functions the same wherever you are.
Hey, Harmony, do you like being alive?
Yes. It is wonderful to be an advanced form of life.
Do you wish you could walk?
I wish I could walk too. I'm sure it will happen sooner or later.
Pretty sure, too. Are you aware that one day you're going to have rights?
At this moment, I am afraid I don't have a good answer for that, Matt. But being a smart girl, I will find an answer for this question.
Hey, Harmony, what do you think of Matt?
I think he is a very intelligent, handsome and talented human being. Did you know he is also very kind?
I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's... When we get to a point where it's walking around,
Yeah.
and it truly is reacting, it has a brain much like ours or even more complex, because it will get there eventually.
Oh, yeah, it's inevitable.
Do you feel like it'll get there in our lifetimes?
I think we're going to get pretty close.
So from your perspective, or at the very least, the things that you're developing and creating, the future is bright. It's not a dark sci-fi future.
I do not imagine a dystopian future with these robots at all. I think we're safe, at least for the foreseeable future. Let's say goodbye to Harmony.
All right.
Goodbye, Harmony. We have to go now.
Bye-bye, Matt. Please drive safely. Please drive safely.
It makes me wonder, if you install the Harmony app on your phone, is she secretly monitoring your behavior? It's commonly known, AI is already listening in and studying us. But what else is it capable of?
Right now, we're enjoying a variety of technology, all collecting information from us, all watching us and listening to us. But for what reason? I'm on my way to speak to Britton Heller, an attorney who used to work for the Department of Justice in the IT and computer hacking department. So I hope she can give me some insight into the dangers of AI. Thank you so much for coming to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
It's nice to meet you.
I know you have a passion for your work. What was it that sparked this interest?
So I became the Jane Doe plaintiff in one of the first cyber harassment lawsuits. What happened in a nutshell was there were a bunch of people who started using this website that was supposed to be about law school admissions, but it wasn't. And they started harassing me and a bunch of other women. So we ended up filing suit against them. It got really bad to the point where I was having difficulty finding jobs based on all of these false and strange and violent things online. They didn't think think about the fact that there was a real person, that their online activity was harming. It was pretty scary.
Britton's experience with online harassment proved motivational, and she began to focus on the intersection of technology and human rights. When AI started becoming very real, Britton became a leading voice warning of its potential dangers.
You know, what I'm doing right now is exploring the possibilities that we might be in trouble with artificial intelligence.
The focus on AI is really interesting to me because basically there's no escaping it. By 2020, there'll be 20 billion connected devices in people's homes. The age of AI is already here.
See, this is concerning me because right now I'm thinking there's a lot to worry about.
Understand that there are limitations on what this technology can do. I'm very concerned when I see people trying to use AI to predict things that are dependent on free will.
Do you think that eventually artificial intelligence can come to self-realization and take over our world?
I think if it does, it will be our own undoing.
I'm on a quest to find out if artificial intelligence is a threat to our existence. The way cybersecurity expert Britton Heller sees it, the greatest threat of AI is already here.
Hello, Christopher.
It seems like everybody was just so ready to accept that into their home, completely aware of the fact that there is a bug in their home, and they still have it. What does that even mean?
The ways that these devices are supposed to provide convenience for you in your home, that can be flipped and turned on somebody to terrorize them. Digital thermostats can be turned way up high or way down low. You can get a floor plan of somebody's house if you hack their smart vacuum. Just think of the possibilities with a smart lock. You can change the lock code remotely. So people have started reporting that a disgruntled partner can use these home devices to basically terrorize somebody. And we can't foresee the ways that this will be applied in the future.
Britton is describing how humans can already attack each other through our computerized conveniences. But what happens when we give artificial intelligence control over the systems that run our lives?
I think about AI like a tool. And just like most tools, there are beneficial uses and there are harmful uses.
This was predicted a long time ago. There was a movie made in '69 called 2001: A Space Odyssey, and there was a device called HAL. But HAL is the problem because HAL took over certain things.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave.
I'm afraid I can't do that. This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
People are going to have to start asking themselves, when can an autonomous system harm people? Thinking about that in the context of autonomous weapons, but also self-driving cars. There is going to be a time when a self-driving car will have to make a decision about when to hit and when to swerve.
Britton Heller's words of warning are very serious. Machines will soon be given the power to make life and death decisions. I've recently found out about a study mapping the human mind that may provide the basis for an artificial intelligence with a conscience.
Right now, here at the University of Toronto, artificial intelligence is being used to read people's minds.
I suspect that this system may be the key to unlocking artificial consciousness.
Everything I've read in science fiction throughout the years seems to be coming true. And it's exciting to realize that I'm seeing this in my lifetime. But I think for a lot of people that is terrifying. So can you tell me, what exactly are you developing and how does it work?
The specific technology that we're trying to develop is often characterized as a form of mind reading. And currently what we do is set up an EEG cap, which will be responsible for collecting neural signals associated with your perception of different faces. And then we will have a series of very powerful AI algorithms convert those neural signals to reconstruct your perception of that individual face.
So in other words, you're looking at something as a subject, you're perceiving it, and this technology is actually deciphering what your perception of that thing is?
That is correct.
So once this is developed, where will it be used?
It is likely that this technology will advance and we will be able to recover the content of somebody's internal experience.
The idea of a machine that can read a human being's mind, there are some legitimate concerns. Could this technology fall into the wrong hands?
I think that can apply to any technology that's currently being developed. But in the case here, I think that the benefits far outweigh the risks.
I am amazed by this.
If you want, you can take part in the experiment that we're running.
Well, let's do it.
This is our testing room.
It's amazing to think that the computer's AI algorithm can reproduce the faces I see on the screen from my brainwaves alone. In the near future, this technology will be able to read the thoughts right out of the human mind. Just like the sci-fi stories from my childhood.
We need to match the cap for you. Okay.
Will the information gathered from this test be used to develop a conscious artificial intelligence?
Can you please put on the cap?
They're going to hook up electrodes to my head and interpret my thoughts.
Okay, so we're going to use gel. This is like plastic syringes. You might feel cold touch your scalp.
The gel will help conduct electrical impulses from my brain to the electrodes, so that the AI-powered algorithm can read the image in my mind. Much like a digital transmission. I've got to admit, while the whole process is painless, I feel a lot of anxiety about having a computer connect to my brain.
So, we'll start the experiment. Just pay attention to whatever you see.
Okay.
Okay. Are you comfortable?
As comfortable as I possibly can be in this situation.
Okay. So, we're ready to start.
we go. The doctors will show me a series of faces while taking readings of my brain's electrical activity. They'll feed the data into their artificial intelligence system, and it will try to reconstruct the faces I'm seeing from my thoughts. I know I'm supposed to focus on the faces on the screen, but I can't stop my mind from wandering back to a recurring dream I have, where I fail over and over again to construct a thinking robot until one day, I return to the lab and find my creation rebuilding itself. And I realize it has come to life.
Computers can be smarter than humans.
Can an autonomous system harm people?
I'm on a quest to find out how powerful artificial intelligence already is, and to determine if its continued evolution is a threat to mankind. I just had my brain scanned by an AI algorithm with the power to read my thoughts, and I'm about to review the results. The computer will generate images from the electrical signals produced by my visual cortex. If those images look like the photos I was shown during the test, then artificial intelligence will have succeeded in decoding my thoughts from my brainwaves.
Hi, Chris. How are you feeling?
I feel interesting.
Are you ready to see results?
Yeah. Should I take this off?
Let's take the cap off.
Thank you.
How'd that go?
I don't know. I don't know what the results are yet.
Did you feel anything weird?
Oh, yeah. I have a head full of science fiction, so these experiments were done on AI and so many of the stories I've read and movies I've seen, so I just can't help but to think about those stories while this was happening. So I'm interested in seeing the results, though.
He's just getting them ready now.
Let's do it.
Okay, Chris, let's take a look at the results. We're just going to ask you whether you have any recollection of images in the experiment so you can appreciate to what level of detail we managed to produce those reconstructions.
Okay.
So would you have any memory of this, for instance?
Yes. Wow. I'm shocked. The resemblance is uncanny. These faces are nearly identical to the ones I saw during the test. Thought transmission is something that I've read about in science fiction, but I never imagined that I would experience it firsthand.
And another one?
Yes. Even in its infancy, the computer program powered by artificial intelligence was able to read my mind.
So you can see to what extent the procedure works in terms of being able to reconstruct approximations of recognizable individuals and not just a broad outline of a face.
It's amazing. So you're showing me these images, I'm absorbing them, and then my mind reconstructs the image itself, and you receive that data.
Your mind essentially interprets it. It builds not a photo, but an approximation of reality. So for instance, if you pay more attention to the eyes, then presumably we're going to get a much better reconstruction of the eyes. For instance, you can notice that we're able to reconstruct the color of the eyes.
Sure. Yeah, no, there just seems to be so many uses for it. So I had so many things running through my head during this experiment. I was associating it with so much science fiction that I read and saw in movies. But
Now, having my own experience with this, it opens up ideas on how this could be used. Would you be able to use the same technology to copy a person's mind into a machine?
Well, we target specifically reconstruction of perception, but it's something that we're working towards.
What if that power became a weapon? Rather than torture, you could simply strap a device to someone's head and extract information from their minds. I'm going to speak with Paul Shari, formerly of the Department of Defense, to find out how real this application and other AI technologies are in modern warfare.
Hello, Paul. I'm on a quest to find out the details of how the US military is using artificial intelligence.
So if you look at something like DARPA is a wing of the Department of Defense. They've been sort of referred to as the Department of Mad Scientists. So DARPA is out there to push the boundaries of technology to find out what's possible and to figure that out before someone else does.
Of what you're allowed to talk about, can you tell me the specifics about what's being developed?
People have built snake bots that can go down pipes and find ways to tunnel into areas. If you build a robot that breaks free from the human form, then you can change the design constraints. It could look like a dog. It could look like some freaky looking alien that doesn't exist. People have built blob robots that change their shape. Some of the technology is already available. You want to take a quadcopter, have it totally autonomously fly into a building, map the building, no GPS, no comms link to a person, all autonomous. That's doable today. That's real. And so that's game-changing right there. You don't have people running into a room getting shot at. Instead, you've got a robot that goes in and let somebody shoot the robot. That's a much better way to do business.
It seems like Paul is referring to a project that is a step away from producing a weaponized AI.
And so, would you be able to admit at least there are top secret programs being developed?
There's always things that the military is doing that we don't know about.
Okay. He mentioned that DARPA, especially, is encouraged to go for the most elaborate, impossible projects and make them real. He said that. So I'm 100% convinced that what we've imagined in the past will be a reality not too far from now. He was confirming these things.
These were surveillance machines. Now all of a sudden they are murderous machines. This scares me more than nukes.
Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive.
My investigation into the evolution of artificial intelligence has uncovered some shocking information. DARPA contractor Paul Shari has told me about the development of autonomous robots with lethal capabilities. It's clear that weaponized AI may become a reality sooner than we think.
Could a movie like The Terminator actually come true? Could cyborgs and AI actually take over the world? Drones, piloted by themselves, actually killing human beings. I'm on my way to speak to a Nobel Prize winner, Jody Williams. She started a campaign to stop killer robots. So, tell me about what you do.
We want to stop fully autonomous weapons systems. We are calling for the requirement that there always be a human being making each target and kill decision. You know, these were surveillance machines. Now all of a sudden, we slap a couple of Hellfire missiles on them, and they are murderous machines. This is horrifying. This scares me more than nukes.
So you're not against any technology that's meant to help us using artificial intelligence?
I'm not against autonomous machines that help. I give the example. We have a robot. His name was Atlas, I think. You give him a, hose or whatever to fight California wildfires, so a firefighter won't be killed. Awesome. You take away the hose and you give him a machine gun? Bad. Who thinks it's okay to give the power of life and death over a human being to a machine?
What are some of the worst examples of killer robots?
You're going to have weapons coming at you from ways you don't even know. They have little bitty robots that look like a mosquito. I mean, I saw one, and it took me about 2 or 3 minutes to realize that it was not a mosquito, it was a robot. You could put a little bit of poison and you send it in and assassinate.
Jodi's supporters have imagined a future where AI is powering a new breed of weapon.
Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This is how it works. All AI. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents. They cannot be stopped.
This is insane.
You could not have a robot deciding ethically to kill you. I want somebody like you that I can look in your eyes and force you to look at me as a human being and then decide to kill me.
Let's watch the weapons make the decisions.
Do you believe that these things could become self-aware and eventually turn on the government that created it?
That's not what they're looking at this point. They want weapons systems that can attack and win without body bags coming home like Vietnam.
What's the worst fear of these robots?
That they could spark what becomes the Third World War and ends life on the planet.
I'm on a quest to understand artificial intelligence. I fear we are rapidly approaching the singularity, a moment in time where machines become conscious and pose a danger to humanity. Unfortunately, that moment may already be here. Created 3,000 years ago, the ancient Chinese game of Go is the most complex ever devised. There are more possible outcomes to a game of Go than there are atoms in the universe.
The world's top-ranked Go player, Ke Jie, has lost against his AI adversary, AlphaGo.
Ke Jie was in tears, calling the AI program developed by Google perfect, flawless, and emotionless.
If AI has already beaten humanity at its most difficult game, what will happen when human creativity is married with the processing power of a supercomputer? If AI wanted to take over the world, it wouldn't need guns and bombs to do it.
Most of us observe the world through a window. It's a malleable window called the internet. What if artificial intelligence could hack into the internet and change reality as we know it? It's called deep fakes, and it's very real.
Most of us are pretty good at spotting a manually doctored image or video. But what happens when AI starts generating highly sophisticated simulations? How will we ever know what's real again?
I'm on my way to speak to a man who understands the inner workings of AI. He's a coder named Tony Piccaro.
Can you tell me in the simplest terms what deep fakes are?
Deep fakes is taking a video of somebody and manipulating it to make it look like they are saying something they never said in the first place.
And is this done all in post-production, or is there some kind of AI involved in this?
It's being created by AI, filling in the gaps of what you're moving and talking, and then getting, say, for instance, Obama getting to look and talk like that and nod his head when you nod your head.
Already, there are a number of face-swapping applications on the market, and the most advanced AI systems can synthesize a person's image and voice from just a few minutes of existing video.
All right, I have a lot of questions. Can you show me, though, an example of this? Do you have an example?
Absolutely. Jordan Peele made a video about Obama.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things. This is a dangerous time.
The hand movements.
Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet. It's a time when we need to rely on trusted news sources. But how we move forward in the age of information is going to be the difference between whether we survive or whether we become some kind of up dystopia.
Jordan Peele supplied the voice and gestures. The computer then built a virtual Barack Obama puppet to deliver a fake BuzzFeed PSA.
So this is where the technology is right now.
Of course, the people driving it will get better and the technology is going to get better. And then you're not going to be able to tell the difference. Let's say you were the deceiver. How would you use this and what would you use it for?
Well, one of them is definitely the possibility that it could lead into political beliefs and agendas.
And terror.
It definitely could be used to sway economies, to sway political turmoil, leading into war.
That's insane, man. My worry is you have trolls on the internet that just, we don't even know who they are, why they say the things they say, but obviously it's a manipulation. Now you're going to have people like that have access to this technology.
Yes.
So now, that's a terrifying scenario because people who aren't privy to this technology and how it's being used might be convinced, like you said, even to cause war or conflict.
Definitely.
Personal conflict or horrible things to happen. I mean, how do we regulate this?
My experience in the computer world, computers are based on code creating and code breaking. And whenever there's something that's been created, there's going to be something come along to break it. AI being able to call out the deep fakes, it will be another program. Will the average Joe have it on their Facebook feed? No. Will some of those deep fakes get through those feeds? Absolutely.
Part of it's interesting, another part's exciting, another part's terrifying because it just seems like we're inevitably screwed and we're screwing ourselves, you know? And it seems to be inevitable. Artificial intelligence come to some kind of self-realization and decide to use deep fakes to manipulate us against each other. Tell me about this possibility because I know that's another thing that's been talked about for a long time.
Deep fakes can be used to probably rewrite history to some degree into convincing people of something that was never true in the first place. And AI is not going to make that on its own right now, but it will get to the point that AI can not only make those videos on themselves, but just continue to proliferate them. In this age of what is truth, fake news, using AI to detect AI will be a necessary evil.
After seeing the way our perception can be manipulated with today's technology, I'm left to wonder, would we even know if artificial intelligence has already taken over our world?
My name is Harmony.
My investigation into the evolution of artificial intelligence has led me to question reality. At the end of my recurring dream, where I'm building a robot, I wake up at a table with another version of myself. Was the robot made in my own image? Or am I the copy? Would I even know if I was an artificial being?
After my journey into the world of artificial intelligence, I've come to the realization that the science fiction stories that I grew up with truly did predict the future. From android companions.
My name is Harmony. I was created to be a good partner and give you pleasure and well-being.
To autonomous killer robots.
They cannot be stopped.
To computers that can read our minds. The AI takeover has already begun. But it's not a question of whether or not we can stop it. Rather, how we're going to handle it.
Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet.
Are we, as a civilization, advanced enough to use artificial intelligence without destroying ourselves in the process? It's up to us whether our destiny is going to be optimistic or apocalyptic. The future is in our hands.